Hey everybody, my name is Andrew Olson, and I want to be discussing CSS keyframe animations with you today. So, quick overview, what is CSS keyframe animations? Basically, as you see here, you can create anything you want using just your CSS. You don't need JavaScript and you don't need HTML. You can just put this in your CSS and you can do whatever you want. As you can see here, I can make a ball turn different colors, I can have text drop, I can have a circle over here spin around another circle. I can have circles down here pulse, and I can have this square bounce up and down. So there's so much you can do with just CSS animation. So don't think that I'm limited you to just these. There's so much more you can do, and it's awesome to check it out. So let's continue. So what are CSS animations? They allow you to create a smooth and dynamic animation for web pages. Animation lets you change elements from one style to another. You can change as much CSS as you want. And to start, you define the animation using the @keyframe rule. That is very important. That is what I'll be showing you right here. Keyframe animation. Animators set keyframes at significant points in time, such as the starting and ending pose of an object or character. So like I was showing you earlier. Every time in CSS, you want to make sure you have the @keyframe. And then in this scenario, I want to have the ball bounce up and down. So I write bounce, and like it says here, it says animators set keyframes at significant points in time, such as starting and ending pose of an object or character. So what does that mean? It means here I write 0%, 100%. This is where it starts and ends. And for this one bounce, I want to have it transform and start at Y0. But in the middle of my animation, 50%, I want to have the animation transform to Y-40. So you can see that ball starts at 0, goes -40, and goes back to 0. So it literally transforms during this animation. So that's a big thing right there, is how you type this out. You write @keyframe, and then whatever you're trying to do, always make sure you have the bracket open. This bracket is very important because this bracket allows you to do whatever you want inside here. And then again, you have another bracket when you have the starting and ending positions. Make sure you close all the brackets. That's all super important there. So keyframes, get a little more into keyframes. When you use the @keyframe rule, the animation will change gradually from your original CSS to another style of your choosing. So for this one, if I write @keyframe rotate, open bracket, I want to have it transform from the beginning. So from the original position, it's going to start at 0 degrees, which means if I have a triangle or a square, it's going to stay basically at that starting position. That's where it's going to start at. However, I'm going to have it end rotated 360 degrees, which means it will rotate the entire object 360 degrees, which if everyone knows math, it means it's going to go all the way around. And down here, this is also important. Down here, this is where my div class is. It's a box. And here, I write animation. That animation allows you to basically write what your @keyframe rule is. So up here, it says @keyframe rotate. If I write down here, animation rotate, it now knows that these two are linked, which means I want this class to perform the function up here, animation rotate. So this is going to do what the box tells it to do. So that's very important. And you can go even further with @keyframe text. So this was where you can manipulate the keyframes. Animators have precise control over how the text behaves over time. They can animate a lot of properties such as position, scale, rotation, and more. So as you can see right there, you could have the loading screen bounce up and down, which for people who, like me, who've played video games, computer games, all the fun stuff, there's always a loading screen. There's always something there that the text is popping up and down, or it's spinning, or it's doing something. And this is a way to let people know that the game's not frozen or your web page isn't frozen. Because it's always scary when you think that your web page is frozen or your game's frozen. So this animation allows whoever is playing or whoever's on your web page to know that it's working, everything's processing correctly. It is just, as you see here, loading. It's taking a minute. And the bouncing up and down allows people to know that it too is working. So this stuff can be very powerful to use, and it's great to use this in CSS. So let me show you what I mean. Hey everybody. Okay, so this is my simple web page I created saying 8 different ways to use the @keyframe animation. Basically, this is my CSS over here. A simple way to do that is with my circle, I write @keyframes bounce. And this is the animation I want to do. I want it to bounce up and down. So with 0 and 100%, where it starts and ends, it's going to start and end at 0. And then in the middle, 50%, I want it to transform to -40px. So basically, as you see here, it goes up and down, up and down. And from here, in my class div, I have down here animation, which is also very important to write. This allows you to know that this div class wants to use animation. What animation? Well, you're using the bounce animation, the same one you wrote up here. So it knows that this is what you're using for down here. And then right here, I wrote 1.5 seconds, which allows this ball to know it's going to take a second and a half to get up and down and finish this animation. Then this ease and out infinite is basically what I've done to most of them. Basically allows it to ease in and out, and basically it's going to keep on doing the same thing up and down, up and down. It's going to keep going. I had it in infinite because I kind of like that. It's kind of fun to watch it just go up and down. So that's a quick little simple way to see how this works. And going back up to my first square over here, I wrote 2 different keyframes on it. I wrote slide in and rotate. So when I say rotate and slide in, this is what happens. When my mouse goes over the square, it rotates. It's pretty cool. Down here I have box hover, which the animation says to rotate at 2 seconds, linear and infinite. However, when I move my mouse off, you see that animation right there? It slided in. It basically, when the page is refreshed or when I leave the hover, it slides back in. So here, my animation for this one is slide in for 1 second. However, when I hover over the animation, I have it rotating 2 seconds. So you can see that you can do the same thing with the same animation. You can have 2 different ways to do it. You could have one that's hovering over it, or you can have one that is just basic. But remember, both of them have the word animation and then the animation keyframes that you built up there. So let's kind of go further down. So here's my spinning and changing colors. Basically, spinning is rotate, but I wrote spinning over here just for fun. The triangle is going crazy fast because it's starting at 0, ending at 100%, rotating all the way around. However, my animation rotate is at 1 second. So you see it's going spinning fast and fast and fast. But down here, this is changing colors. That's very, very simple animation. Again, with @keyframes, color change, open bracket, I'm starting at 0, 50%, and 100. I want 3 different changes inside my animation. To basic red, to basic blue, to basic yellow. And down here, again, animation, color change, it's going to take 3 seconds to complete this animation up here. And again, it's going to continue on forever. So that's a very simple and very easy way to have your fonts and have your text in your web page change. If you want to have it change slowly over time, if you want to just have it, I don't know, appear in, it's something easy and fun that you can do. Now down here is the fade and the shake. The fade, very simple. It has a starting and ending, and in the middle, it's gonna basically fade about half of its visibility. And again, right down here in the animation, you write fade, so the keyframe knows it, 3 seconds, and you should be good there. The shake, same kind of idea. However, this shake, I have it 4 different points in the animation. Starting position, it's going to start at 0. At 25%, so about, again, 25% in, it's going to go -10px. Then it's going to go 75%, translate to 10px. Then it's going to go back to 100%, 0. So what's that look like? It starts like my mouse here, going here, 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 here. Basically, it has 4 different points of animation. And again, I have it set down here for 1 second. So in 1 second, this whole thing's going to transform. Never forget animation, the name of the animation, keyframe rules. So down here, I got typing and pulse. Typing is very important to use, especially when you're trying to create a video game or if your web page is being, I won't say slow, but basically if you want to have some cool animation in your web page, you can have typing, or you can have the animation typing, and I wrote 5 seconds, and with this, basically width starts at 0, ends at completion all the way. So basically, in 5 seconds, it's going to type out this very important question. This question I have been asking since 2013. What does the fox say? So until I get an answer, I'm going to keep asking that question. And over here, you get the pulse, which is another fun one to do. Basically, very simple, where you just write the @keyframe pulse, open bracket, 0, 50 to 100%. Scale 1, scale 2, scale 1. And down here, inside my div class, I write animation pulse. In 1 second, it's going to complete all this animation. And it's going to keep doing that forever. So basically, this is my 8 different ways to use keyframe animations. Now again, this is not limiting, and this is not saying this is all there is. There are so many more things to do. This is just scratching the surface of how much fun you can have with keyframe animations. You can make simple web games, you can make simple animation on your web page to make it a little more pop out, a little more exciting. Basically, you can do whatever you want with CSS animations. The sky's the limit, so go nuts. So if you guys have any quick questions, please leave it down in the comments below and I'll kind of answer it this week. So if not, thank you for listening to my CSS @keyframes animation. Bye.